Out there. President Donald Trump today said he'd be honored to meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
I really, have no comment on him. People are saying, is he sane? I have no idea. I can tell you this, and a lot of people don't like when I say it, but he was a young man of 26 or 27 when he took over from his father. Obviously, he's a pretty smart cookie.
That was the president over the weekend on Face the Nation. Today, Mr. Trump told Bloomberg News he'd meet the North Korean dictator under the right circumstances. Kim has never met with the foreign leader since taking charge after his father's death back in 2011. In fact, Kim has never even left North Korea. We want to know what you think. Should President Trump meet the North Korean leader? Head over to WUSA9.com/vote and have your voice heard. And we're going to have the results here, of course. To get your take. Here to get a take from the left and the right on today's headlines, China Dickerson, executive director of the D.C. Young Democrats, and Ron Meyer. He's editor of Red Alert Politics and a Republican Loudoun County Supervisor. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you, Bruce.
Should the president meet with this guy, and under what circumstances? What would it look like? Where would they meet?
He's sympathizing with a dictator, which is very interesting, feeling sorry for him as he's had to take the role since his father died. And I think, just like, and we might talk about as we're seeing with the budget, where Congress did not compromise on the wall, where Congress did compromise on other things, I think the narrative of this country is that we do not, as for example with terrorists, we do not negotiate with terrorists. And for him to have this meeting with Kim, it's just not a good idea.
You disagree, Ron?
He said under the right circumstances. I think that's the pivotal point. The interesting thing is this. Never before have we been in a better position, especially in the last decade, whether it's the Obama years or the Bush years, with North Korea than we are today. And it's because President Trump, in his meeting with President Xi of China, actually negotiated China to help us with North Korea. President Obama couldn't get that done. President Bush couldn't get that done. President Trump did get it done. And that's to his credit. And now China is stopping North Korea from doing their biggest export, which is dirty coal. And so I think that's why Trump is saying he's open to a negotiation, because guess what? Kim Jong-un is on his heels. And Trump will negotiate with someone on his heels because he knows he could possibly get a good deal for the United States, get them to stop their nuclear program. And if a meeting could stop their nuclear program, you better hope that the President of the United States would take that meeting.
But let's not compare China with North Korea. Having a conversation with the leadership of China is not the same as having a conversation with China so they can then have a conversation with North Korea. So we have to be careful who we have direct conversations with. China is a partner. North Korea is not.
We're still a long ways from anything being agreed upon in terms of a meeting, but how would such a meeting take place? He's not coming here. President Trump is not going to go to North Korea. Where would they meet? On a boat in the middle of the ocean?
Hey, maybe you could turn Mar-a-Lago into a yacht.
I was about to say.
Maybe, but it'd have to be a yacht version. And maybe, no, I think honestly what would probably happen is in the DMZ, as we saw a couple weeks ago, Mike Pence toured buildings that are on the border, actually literally on the border. That's where usually these meetings would take place. Otherwise, I think it would have to be in China or in that Chinese-North Korean border.
Okay, all right. Over the weekend, the Trump for President campaign released this ad looking back on his first 100 days in office. Let's take a look.
Donald Trump, sworn in as president 100 days ago. America has rarely seen such success. A respected Supreme Court justice confirmed. Companies investing in American jobs again. America becoming more energy independent. Regulations that kill American jobs eliminated. The biggest tax cut plan in history. You wouldn't know it from watching the news. America is winning, and President Trump is making America great again.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
What do you think?
Well, I think that Donald Trump right now is in a really interesting position where he's in negotiations with Congress. And frankly, I think he's probably punted and he whiffed on the punt with this negotiation. The negotiation that we saw today is a good compromise for the Washington, D.C. area because it's actually more funding for the government that we saw under the Obama years. We're actually seeing an increase in defense, an increase in domestic spending. So everyone in the Washington region who wildly opposed Donald Trump should actually be pretty happy today. But for conservatives and Republicans and independents and even Democrats who voted for him to look at reforming government, this doesn't do that.
I think Trump has had a horrible 100 days. Everything from his not being able to fund the wall, from to the Muslim ban, all the way down to the budget that happened. Again, as I mentioned earlier, he had to compromise on the wall. But for example, funding for Planned Parenthood is still in the bill because we know 7 in 10 Americans support the government helping women with their health. So I think everything that he has wanted, he's had to compromise on. And now with the missiles that he launched and with him wanting to have this meeting in North Korea, because he wants the meeting, he's suggesting he might have it.
But you agree that he's taking a more pragmatic approach on the budget, right? So Donald Trump's not this crazy person out doing crazy things. He's compromising with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. That can't be too out of the mainstream, right?
I think the Freedom Caucus and other Republicans in Congress are compromising. I think they're trying to convince. I think they're trying to convince Trump to compromise.
Okay. All right. Stick around. Did you hear where President Trump